So don't get me black. Yeah, I mean African American. Excuse me. Well, all right. Oh, well, I'm Afro American. I'm an Afro American. I'm an Afro American who's singing kind of wide. My clothes are small and I feel a little tight. I'm an Afro American. I'm an Afro American. I'm an Afro American and I'm in the zone. An Afro American, leave me alone. An Afro American with my an Afro American, but not alrighty though. I'm an Afro American. I'm an Afro American. Oh my God, I'm an Afro American. Come on, sing it with me, guys. Come on. I'm an Afro American. Afro American. Afro American. Afro American. You gotta love it. Afro, 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 Afro. You gotta love it. Well, all right. Well, I'm an Afro American. You gotta love it. I stay cooking. No one does it. My food tastes good. My girl is thick. My big, 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 big ass dick because I'm an Afro American. Happy Black History Month. Ah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Smoke one of these fucking Shaq fingers in this motherfucker. Where you, Jay? You know what I'm saying? Motherfucker coming back nigga. Deli wax. We got that butter green sticky. Hot and from Mr. Untouchable. My name is. Fuck my lighter up. Always losing my lighter. Torch don't work. The nigga tried to rob me, put his ass in a coma. The other mill. Good right protect. Well, what it is. No, like that, not that shit. Like, damn, I know. Hell dog burst. You already know. They call us Cheech and Chong because they know we smoke that thrax. Never blow it up or edge. It's always loud pack. Leprechaun, nigga, yeah, cause I'm rocking green. And I'm so famous, nigga, always on your TV screen. Up in a limousine, smoking weed with Charlie Sheen. I swear I do my thing now. Do you wanna buy? I got hash, kush, and draw. You might wanna try. I'm so chopped that I keep eating down latest. And I stopped smoking blunts. I only use evaporators. Call me the regulator, cause I regulate this shit. MC Hammer, man. I'm too legit to quit. Mortal Kombat. Yeah, I got that thrax. standing on a corner and it's flow. I said, I got that track. They say my time will come. Oh, is it really? 24 years old. Hold on, you did before my fucking kids learn how to drive. I'm hoping I make it. Send you to the places for so many people. Half of the places with those fucking odds. Damn. Mr. Governor or President. I'm starting to talk to you, man. Damn. Yeah. Sipping up on that fine wine, I'm dying, man. But I can either do the world is like might go. I might go. I got some runts in here. Some runts mixed with some shit. I don't know. It's fire though. But make sure you watch the Smoke Squad TV at 420. I'm dropping a video at 420. You're in the fucking lab right now. It's going down. We're smoking until 420. Let's go. Hey, you know me. I'm gonna keep smoking, man. This is what I fucking do. This ain't even a fucking weird video or that shit like that. This is what the fuck Milwaukee Hell Dog does. The Colorado Cannabis Ambassador, goddamn. This is what I do. I smoke. It's an occupational thing. You know what I'm saying? Been training for it my whole life, and now I'm here. Let's go. If you haven't subscribed to Smoke Squad TV on YouTube, do that, man. I'm dropping a video at 420. At 420. 420, I'm dropping a video. If you didn't know, now you know. Let's go. It's going down in a big way. Hey, depending on what type of response I get from this video, I might start dropping more premieres, man. Start dropping more bangers for y'all. You know what I'm talking about? Let's go. No cops didn't come and no guns didn't pop. It's a good day. It's a good day. It's a good day, my boy. Let's get paid. No cops didn't come and no guns didn't pop. Yes, it's a good day. It's a good day. It's a good day, my nigga. Let's get paid. I'm feeling like you. I changed the channel. No homicide on the news. Black up those white cubes. That's what money do. Police get to it, but I'ma make it do what it do. Fuss around, no jackboys. It must be Gucci, cause everybody eating, money being made, nobody beefing. It's crazy. This type of shit fell on a weekend. You know what that means. Party, party, party. No jobs didn't come, and no girls didn't pop. It's a good day. It's a good day. It's a good day, my nigga. Let's get paid. On a normal day, I used to blast up. But on these days, I'm just saying, put my pants up. I walk outside, pants with the lines in them. I just walking fast, you know it. Go and get them. Outside, so no shirt with the pants showing. Diamonds in my ear and neck. I swear it's snowing. Man, I'm feeling so good. I gave a bum change. The boys came through with they turn their lights off. But I ain't give a fuck, I kept spraying lights out. Sun about to go down, I just might make it home. With no front plates, if I do this, fuck it on. Yeah, it's a good day, no pain, no. The BKC nigga is the new motherfucking artist. No cops didn't come and no guns didn't pop. Yes, it's a good day. It's a good day. It's a good day, my nigga. Let's get paid. Real nice day. Y'all are niggas.
No,
No cops didn't come and no guns didn't pop. Yes, it's a good day. It's a good day. It's a good day, my nigga. Let's get paid. Real nice day. And I'm looking paid. Oh, I'm in the condo. Bitch getting laid. Been a while, another Lex. That's a my 6 pack. Pussy 22, so this is straight check. It's hell, I'm fresh. I know you smell the sense. You probably smell a kush. All I smoke is the best. Other niggas so lame. They ain't hit like me. Hell dog on the train. I'm that nigga Lil T. See him go like AC. The crease like JG. KUTG. I like Big E. Spicy. It's hell, I'm getting money. I ain't stretching anything.
If you don't like that, you get beans and rice. You just flip flop it, forget on left, go on the right. It's like that's all you got. You might go through hundreds of bullshit, but if you find that one thing, it was all worth it. So I got 4 packs of that, like $600 a pack or whatever. For real. I mean, in flower form, it's just to me, it's still superior. No, those are pack. They just look at me like, what's up, bro? You find a fire ass people like you let me know, you got to put all the seats in that little 100 seats. Hey, what's up, First Smoke family? We're back, man. Today is First Smoke of the Day. It's your boy Pat in the building. Here are my co-host Blackly. What up, what up? And today we got a special guest in the building, man. We got Up the Hill exclusive for featured episode 3. What's good, homie? How you doing?
Sir. Yes, sir.
And happy to have you on.
Yes, sir.
We've been chopping it up for a minute. We got a review coming out with you guys as well.
Yeah.
And you guys are, you're pushing.
Yeah, I'm doing what I can, man, for sure.
You're pushing. You're a hustler. You're a real hustler. So happy to get into your story. You got a lot of different facets to what is behind you and your upcoming. And it's just dope, man. It's dope to see that you've been reaching out to me and him early on, supporting early on, and just ready to build alongside us. And that's what's dope, and that's what we're all about is,
being value add and just rising up together. So we're happy to have you tonight.
Oh yeah, I appreciate the opportunity as well. You guys always respond to the DMs and shit, it's cool showing the love back. It just starts with the flower pics and whatnot. So I was like, man, this looks fire to me. I'm gonna send it to them, bro. I've been hearing them talk all day. They act like they know the fire flowers, so they're gonna like it too. And yeah, good reception for sure.
And hash flavors, serious hash flavors.
Yeah, this is the first hash drop I've ever done. So for you to already be feeling, like the future's gonna be dope. This, like the homie that watched this, like we pretty much started learning how to wash, like washing my trim, and like I would do a couple plants here, like I'll throw some plants on the side in the grow room and wash those types. And then this was the first time I was like, all right, we're gonna cut this whole row and like a couple of these lights, and he actually did a nice little pull, and like he did his thing, for sure. Like pretty much like we got all the right equipment, but compared to like, some of these rooms pumping out similar quality, like we're roughing it out, and he threw down, as you can see. So like I'm proud of him on that aspect. But I definitely gave him some good starting product. So it wasn't too hard, you know what I'm saying?
And I'm interested to hear what Up the Hill means. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
I'm up there, man.
If you're in NorCal, bro, you can't go a couple of days without hearing Up the Hill. Like if you're talking about going back to your spot or like going to shop or whatever, like, oh, I'm going up the hill, I'll talk to you later type. So it's like Up the Hill is just a common ass phrase. So like honestly, like for me to turn into a brand, like not gonna lie, I'm probably the first person who's on here is like, this is a full circle situation as far as my brand. Like listening to you guys, like I literally, when I got my first proofs from Sticker Farmer, when I was like creating my brand, I remember like DMing them to Black Leaf, like, yo, you got the wheels turning and shit. I've been listening to the podcast, and like I sent you the first proofs for like this box that I had. This was my first thing I ever did, was the QP box with the jars. And so like really listening to you guys is kind of what made this kind of happen in my brain, So,
and we went back and forth about the design.
Yeah,
I told you, oh, I like this, I like that.
Yeah, no, for sure.
Yeah, I love talking direct.
That's crazy to hear. Yeah, like this, the first person I hear who like, without you guys' influence, like maybe this would have happened at a later date or something, bro. But I would not be in the position I'm at with like my brand and whatnot without like being able to get the wheels turned from y'all. So for sure,
thank you, bro. That. People latch on the stories, and I'm glad some have inspired you, to like get it going, make it happen. And it's what you're already doing, so you might as well, make it pop and put a brand on it and take it serious. I see you got the hat, you got the hoodie, you got the gear, you got the product, most important part the flower,
Yeah.
Talk about it though, talk about coming up and what it was like for you. I know your dad's Brazilian. So
so like I pretty much have like my own little unique like SoCal 90s baby kind of story. I grew up out here in Orange County originally. I was born in like Lakeview, Kaiser, right there by Anaheim. So like I pretty much spent my whole life out here till I graduated high school in Southern California. So my dad, he was actually like part of that first wave of like Brazilians that came over that learned jiu-jitsu and whatnot, and like kind of started the whole MMA wave and like turned that into all it was. So like my story is very much intertwined with like the very beginnings of like martial arts here in Southern California and whatnot. And my father opened, from what I know, it's the first not Gracie school, but Carlson Gracie, like officially affiliated, like paying him money to like use his name and actually being one of his students, like the first Carlson Gracie studio in the United States, period. So that started in 1994. My dad opened it in Orange County. So Orange County is like the city of Orange. And so he was a Carlson Gracie black belt. And they came out here like in the 80s, early 90s, when that it was first starting to like come alive. And bro, like that shit, like he would always tell me the stories, like just a bunch of buffed out Brazilian dudes like speaking minimal English. He told me they'd all like go to LA and work out at Gold's Gym on the beach and so like I don't know, you could just imagine the type of savagery that was going on there, like
and then go out to the beach and probably jiu-jitsu out of each other.
It's like these stupid dudes walk through, you're like, all that.
Yeah. Dude, and that Gold's Gym in Venice is like crazy. Like,
it's doing it. Yeah,
There's like Arnold Schwarzenegger, and then there's like the Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu triple black belt.
my
You know,
dad
it's
was
like,
a huge Arnold Schwarzenegger fan. Like, taught me how to like pose when I was a kid. We used to watch like Pumping Iron and shit, you know, like full like that era, bro. Like for sure, 100%.
every weed dude I know who hits the gym had that poster of Arnold Schwarzenegger hitting the joint. You seen that famous one? He's got this famous one where he's like hitting a joint, and everybody I know had that like, like yo, that's right there, bro.
Yeah, nah, my dad wasn't really into the whole weed thing. You know, he was more like. So my dad actually passed away from leukemia when I was 12. That was like 2008. So pretty much my whole life, he was like super religious. You know, like super religious. Like it's kind of what he was about, and really instilled a lot of that into me. I'm not like super religious myself like anymore, but that's just kind of like the phase of his life that I knew him in. You know what I'm saying? So, which is kind of good for me because he was older. You know, he's in his 40s when he passed away and whatnot. So, really, my whole life that I knew him, he was like a grown ass adult with his together. You know, like a man ass man, like with a business and like the community. Like, it's like I didn't really have to go through the phases of like watching your dad do the young dumb shit. You know, which I'm sure happened, but so for me, I didn't really even. But he like growing up as a kid, it was still like that era too, right before weed starts becoming super popular. Like weed wasn't like, oh, there's weed and then there's drugs. It's like there's dope, and it's like all encompassing. You know what I'm saying? And weed is dope, so it's like all together type. Is kind of like how I originally like heard about any drugs or weed or anything like that from like my dad and stuff. You know,
where you came up in Orange County too, it's known for like jiu-jitsu. It's known for mixed martial arts. Like there's a lot of badasses that come out of Orange County.
yeah, bro, for sure. If you're walking around Orange County acting tough to people, you're a brave person.
Yeah.
Because that ain't it. You know, there's a lot of UFC fighters and, you know, jiu-jitsu people out here. Like, yeah. And jiu-jitsu people are unassuming, bro. Like, you know, they might be like 5'4", it's like 130 pounds, but you don't want any of those issues.
Hell no.
So it's like, yeah, that's SoCal is definitely a huge spot for that too.
So did you train growing up as a kid then?
Yeah, I mean, pretty much since I could like run, you know, I could train. So that's how it was. Like I literally lived like my whole life in the studio. Like my dad was there from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. So he dropped me off at school and then picked me up, and I was there all day and then all day on the weekends. Like, and my dad, like, which I'm grateful for, was like hella protective. So like not like the whole like, yeah, I'm gonna go stay over at my friend's house. Like what talking about it in the city, like you're not staying at your friend's house. I don't know who's gonna be there. Like which like looking back on it, you know, it was hard to like have like normal friends type stuff, you know, when your dad was kind of like you're a little bit sheltered, you know, like. But thinking back on it, like the risk reward is like, bro, you need to keep the kids close, bro, for sure. Like just the stories you hear and the weird, you know, like your kids at someone's house and then the family friend who's a total weirdo is over there. Something weird happens, bro. One time, bro, and the kids like, damn, life will never be the same. Never be the same, bro. So my dad took that seriously. Like as far as when I was with my dad, you know, like there was not much like sleeping over people there. Not once, you know what I mean? So he was pretty protective as far as that. So I was actually like pretty sheltered from like any sort of like weed stuff or anything like that, you know. Like I said, he was pretty religious as well.
Do you cook a lot of Brazilian stuff? Do you cook a lot of mostly Americanized?
But my dad was like fucking like a bachelor his whole life, you know. Okay. Like he'd cook a little for me here and there, but it was not like cooking, you know.
Chicken and rice,
bro.
Yeah, bodybuilder.
Yeah, for sure. Like enough to go train. Fucking,
yeah.
I'd always hear the stories because growing up in Brazil, he was like broke as shit, you know. So it's, back in the day, it's like egg whites, and they have chickens. You know, our family used to own a farm right there. It's in a little town called Xerém in Rio de Janeiro, and yeah, so like they lived on a farm. And my dad said that his dad pretty much made like $1,000 a year. It was like their income, you know?
Yeah.
So, yeah, like egg whites, you literally like, all right, what's coming out of these animals? Like, that's my nutrition, bro. Like,
yeah, everyone's got a garden, some
version of a garden, bro, and like some sort of protein. If you don't like that, you get beans and rice.
Yeah.
You just flip-flop it, you know? Put one on the left, one on the right. Because, like, that's all you got.
So how old were you? Said your dad passed away from leukemia.
Yeah, I was
12.
I was either 12 or 13. I think I was 12. like about to turn 13.
And mom wasn't around, so that was that.
No, so
everything.
well, my mom's been around, so but like my mom and dad just went together.
Okay.
But like pretty much my dad like fought super hard and got full custody of me when I was like right around like 6 or 7 ish. So then it was like mom's house like every other weekend type thing. So you know like my dad's super strict, but then my mom, bro, like she's not like able to keep up. Like she got 4 kids, and you know like mostly single. Like sometimes stepdad here and there, nothing like super consistent, you know. So it was like that she couldn't do nothing. So when I would go there every 2 weeks, it was like chaos type thing. But you know, and then as soon as like I left my dad's, you know, just being hella sheltered, it was like full chaos right there as well. Like that's where like kind of like the weed situation starts to take a hold, you know.
Was that before your dad passed away? Or after?
Yeah, after my dad passed away, and then like I was in 7th grade, and like that 7th grade summer to 8th grade was like my first time smoking weed. It was just dude and everybody, like one of my classmates, fucking, I can't remember his name, Daniel Myers, bro. So it's been long enough. Smoking out of another kid ain't illegal. It's Daniel Myers, and what's it called? We smoked some OG, bro. Like the first time I ever smoked was like from what I remember, it was fire, bro. Like gassy nose and shit, like SoCal spoiled like to the fullest, bro. Like OG, the first time I ever smoked, and I remember just like that shit was awesome. Bro, just being high as fuck. Like you know how some people say they don't get high the first time. Like I didn't have no issue like that at all. I vividly remember like sitting in this floor at like a massage chair. You know, it's like Irvine, so like we like well off white people, you know. So this one had like a massage chair type shit and like 15 feet. And I got in that bitch with my shoes on, bro. And like, you know how it's supposed to massage your feet? I had like my shoes fully on. I'm like, oh, this is awesome, bro. Like, not even feeling like any of it, you know what I'm saying?
You were smoking when Snoop was smoking first time.
Jeez. Yeah, the OG, bro. I mean, even the next couple times after that, like the homies that I would smoke with, the homie Vincent, this fool fucking had some cousins, I guess, that were older that would get weed from the dispensary because they had the medical dispensaries and shit. So, you know, like Blue Dreams and Fire OG, you know what I mean? Like, really, the first times I was smoking was like, pretty spoiled. Like, as far as like the access and whatnot, and like where I was at. I remember one time I picked up some. So I actually, the first time I ever got in trouble for like some weed shit was like when I was 13, right there in middle school. I got expelled from middle school, and they arrested me and charged me with like selling weed. I sold 20 sacks to some girl type shit, and she was like walking back to her locker to go put it away, and then the PE teacher just saw them like hella smelling something, looking suspicious, and just ran up on him. And then my name got involved, and I ended up got in trouble for it. But so like I was on like thin ice right there with my mom as far as that shit getting expelled. And then I had done something genius. I went and grabbed a bag of GDP, and I smoked a joint in my bathroom with the fan on. Like, oh, I'm gonna spray some Axe. I got the fan on. And like, bro, that shit smoked the whole house out, man. She sent me to rehab, bro. She like really sent me to rehab, bro. Like,
oh shit.
I was so like.
You think that some of it was like acting out and like
well, she
like,
was just
like
she knew
just
my
like your father passing and stuff, and
exactly.
Then not knowing
she knew
how
my
to
dad
feel
was
about
passed,
it.
and she has other kids, and she's like not like super experienced, but she just felt lost. Just looking back at her, like even having her tell me, she like dropped me out crying, like I don't know what to do, like literally don't know what to do. So
they were misinformed about.
Yeah, like the last thing you should do is do some random people and see what they want to do. Like that.
Well, last thing you do, for all the parents at home, don't do that to your kid because then they end up around a bunch of drug addicts on real drugs, and then they learn about a bunch of real drugs.
That's the next part of the story.
That's not the way to do it. Fucking take away their cell phone or some shit, or keys to their car or some shit. You know, like see what kind of weed they're smoking. You know.
No, like
see if they're smoking better than you first. He's in the bathroom smoking that sticky purple. I could smell it out here, the whole house. You know, holy hell.
Yeah,
I smell the GDP.
Yeah. No, I had like a babysitter right there, And it was probably 5 minutes after I was out of the bathroom, fucking my mom blowing me up. Like, the babysitter said you smoked out the house. But I was like, what? Like,
Damn, snitch.
no way.
Yeah, maybe I should have stepped outside.
Yeah, nah, I was only like,
Go to the park.
I like just turned 14 or something. And like you said, bro, it's all kids that are like 17, damn near 18, like all doing heroin and meth. And like, yeah, I'm in here for weed. They're like, what? Why? Like, so
Weed?
yeah, exactly.
Like in half baked for real.
Nah, but like the insurance is paying like 20K or whatever the fuck for you to be there for a couple weeks. So they're gonna sit there and be like, you got a weed problem, let's fix this, you know? They're not gonna be like, hey, let's keep you the fuck away from these kids that are gonna pollute you. But like it wasn't too bad, like nothing like hella weird or nothing like that. But now I remember I actually was
Did
like,
you stop after that for a while?
hell no, bro. But like honestly, out of all these kids, bro, these kids are like 17, hardened criminals, whatever. Like I was the one that got kicked out after being there for a week. They kicked me out after a week, and I had because they had convinced me like this was in actually where I went to rehab was in Orange. Like my dad's studio was right down the street. I was kind of familiar with the area. There's like a Rite Aid right here, yada yada yada. So they actually convinced me to like go run a cry like. So what we do is we sneak out at night and we go steal alcohol and like everybody gets fucked up. So I did it twice in a week and fucking got the whole house fucked up. Like some of these people are like, yeah, I haven't done drugs in 6 months. And like, that's what's up. I'll be back with a bottle. Like, so it kind of like fucked up everything, like for everybody. And they had to kick me out, bro. And like my mom made me, she said if I didn't call them and like beg to get back in, I was going to one of the military camps type shit. So I was like, I got them on the phone. I was like, please. And they fucking let me back in to like try to complete whatever it was. So I ended up being there like another 2 weeks. But like even after like a week and a half, like one of the other kids had gone and like stole a bunch of Benadryl and we all popped like whatever the recommended dose is times 10. And like we were all just like tripping on acid, bro, pretty much like laying in the backyard and like everybody got in trouble for that. But somehow they let me out the program after they were like, get out of here, bro. Oh man, like I got out of that and somehow like my mom like it was cool, whatever. Like I don't even know if I stopped. I don't know if I stopped smoking that long. There might have been a day or not. You know, I think it was like a couple weeks or something. But I might have like tried to make an effort. But you're in middle school, so it's pretty unrealistic. That's it.
Yeah, 55, 41. You already body. You ain't body. Go lie. You can't reach a bitch. Quick. You got 5, 4, 3. What's up, man? You ain't body. the fuck you talking about?
Yeah, the fuck I did. Y'all on some hoe shit. You bought that fucking Treyway came, you bitch ass motherfucker. You take your shit. You a comedian. You a washed up looking Mike ass looking motherfucker. You a crackhead. You a janitor in night school. You live with your mama. We already know, bitch. We already know, bitch. You a hoe. I killed you, bro. You don't even rap, dog. Why you always talking about other bitch? You a hoe. Why you always talking about other bitch? You got dick in your mouth. Shut up. I'll rip you out by your braids. Mop my floor. Shut up. Shut up. I'm on the floor. Shut up, bitch. You ain't shit. Treyway, bitch. You ain't shit, bro. Stop talking about other rappers, dog. You ain't Billy Otto faggot. You a fucking faggot, dog. On my mama, you a faggot, blood. You're not real, bitch. You ain't real, bitch. Yo, bitch. Recognize, hoe. Recognize, bitch.
Higher area nation. Hell, Hitler, fight the curve, American history, excellent. Show my nigga them blood. Who ain't get blood? You don't slide a motherfucker. You just like, hold on, blood, hold on, blood. When do we complete street? It's a lot of motherfuckers watching the back right now. I want to lay on street like anyway, what's the deal, bro? Oh, my nigga, no, fuck all that. Well, about you, let's tell me if it's yours, but it's not yours. That's how I bullshit, Queen Street, Inglewood, I see the rings on the Inglewood, smashed out, girls, still, bro, so my nigga, girls, still, shout out from a real nine trade, but that Treyway, like, look, Treyway is shit with the Billy there, blood. Shout out to the Billy there, real nine trade, Billy there, blood. Treyway is shit, blood. Treyway, nothing but like Queen Street. Shout out to the real nine trade, real nine trade, Treyway. Treyway, you know, so look, look, fuck all that. Shout out to the real nine trade. Some parts really do gotta take over. This big blood, only niggas that don't like scope. The bitch ass niggas I be talking about, but the bitch ass niggas that like the niggas I be talking about. You think I'm mad about it? You think I feel some type of that? Nigga, I don't give a fuck. Fuck your feeling, bitch ass nigga, soft ass. Get your soft ass, sensitive ass, bro. And you need a man with sensitivity. Look, man, fuck you. Bitch, it's 2019, but you need to want to raise everybody to be soft and sensitive. Soft and sensitive. And fuck you, Queen Street, but nigga, I raised nigga to be gangster. Nigga, Queen Street, I was raised to be a gangster. Queen Street, the Inglewood Ave, nigga, but I raised niggas to be gangster, but you need one nigga to be soft and sensitive. That fuck, that Queen Street, Queen and Inglewood Ave. Fuck you. Straight Inglewood though. Check your music. But give me $100. Let's send you $100 cash out right now. Then I'm gonna tap you in the go line. And then I'm gonna listen to your music. Queen Street, I ain't gonna lie. Look, here, let me pin that. If your broadcast, I got $100, yo, man. Look, let me pin that. I'll just pin it. Check my music, food. All right. Cash at me $100 right now. $BOSKOE. Right now, cash app. I'm gonna see the notification, then I'm gonna tap you in live, and then you can listen to your shit. But other than that, get your broadcast on my shit. You think I give a fuck about your music if you ain't willing to invest in your music? If you ain't willing to invest, like, but if you don't care enough about your music to invest in your shit, you think I give a fuck about it to want to play it on my shit? I don't give a fuck. Retweet.
Literally. What's good? What's up, my nigga? Go live with CC Show. Where the fuck CC Show at? CC Show anything? Where CC Show at? CC Show anything? Where CC Show? Go live with CC Show. You don't see nothing. Where the fuck CC Show at? I'm saying, where CC? Tell CC Show. You tell CC Show. Box go 100 on live. Queen Street, I'm on my shit. Queen Street, my shit lit. My shit stay lit, but I'm the original lit. Queen Street, tell CC Show, come on my shit. Run that shit, LA to NY, Queen Street, who CC fuck with the Trinitarios? CC Trinitarios. He fuck the Trinitarios. I'm saying, whatever I tell CC, run up in. Any Billy say you ain't right, that's what the fuck to me. Any nigga say I ain't right, fuck Queen Streets, punch that nigga. Let any nigga say I ain't right, you niggas know me, you niggas watch me, you think I'm in this position for no reason. Any nigga say I ain't right, punch that nigga in his mouth, fuck that nigga Queen Street. Any nigga say box I ain't right, punch that nigga in the street, but I'm not lying, but I'm not bust that nigga. You alright, don't you? You alright, don't you? Oh, Boopy. What's the matter, Boopy? Bust that nigga shit, but I'm not gonna matter. You alright, don't you? Oh, Boopy. What's the matter, Boopy? What's the matter? Bust that nigga shit, I'm not lying, but that's what I would do. You would bust it, I know what the fuck you is going right now. You alright, don't you? Oh, Boopy. What's the matter, Boopy? Bust that nigga shit. That's how you turn that good. That's how you turn up all that fuck all that talking. Fuck all that talking. You alright, don't you? Oh, boop. What's the matter, boop? I'm just saying. Who would you win in a fight? Compton or Inglewood? Who would win in a fight? Look, get over here, bro. Watch this. Block going in a fight. Black block always win in a fight. Shut the fuck up. Block your time. You know what? You've been on my page way too long. Talking way too much shit. That's your ass. That's your ass. Push to get your bitch ass the fuck out. Billy Gato needs his eraser hits. Now, why you in here talking about Billy Gato? Was we talking about that? Was I talking about that? Get over here, blood. Get your skin goofy. Over here, blood. Let me paint that blood. Best chaos 18. Hold on. Blood, you best might not come out the whole fucking. I don't do much like anyway, over the home. You can't stand me. I love you though. You're naked, true. How you look? You ain't really be naked. Get over here. One in that Queen Street, they don't take a shit. I'll be with you in a moment. Do you really be naked though? Let me see. I'm curious. Like, you're naked. Do you really be naked? You gotta go. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Read. tree. Can't wait till Dream Dawn said Tori sucked her and threw her stuff. Did he really though? That shit was trash, but like how to toast it. I don't even know how to toast it. Like how to toast it. Did anybody see the toast? How to toast it? But they even cute. Did anybody see the toast? Like she said, no serious shit, but she said he sucked the toast through the sock. But I want to see the toast. You know what? I never like looked at Dream Dawn that close to examine the toes. If the toes even cute, look like what's the toes look like? I need to see what they look like. But Quincy, since she mentioned that, like since you said that, you know what? Speaking on the toes, look, I'm a nigga that like toes. Look, Quincy, like speaking on the toes, but that like this, you ain't even cute. What's the deal? We're Dream Dawn. Like, tell Dream Dawn. I'm like, go you talk about CC show. We're Dream Dawn. Let's tell Dream Dawn. Watch, come on, live. Let me see no toes. I want to see the toes. Let me see the. They straight, bro. I see them today. You see them today? You was a creepy ass thing that I was going like, you creepy, bro. You was lucky for the toe. You see them, they straight, bro. I see them. That creepy ass. You, no, that's where you a nigga like you. Look at this nigga like you. This nigga, oh, like, but creepy ass nigga, you a nigga like me though, but I can trust you like you see the toes today. That's what I'm talking about. Real nigga, they right to us today. Creepy ass nigga. Good creepy. Yeah. I seen them today, glad they do creepy ass nigga. Fuck clean street sucker. Fuck you, bitch. I slap you. Black. Shut up, bitch. Just slap the fuck out of you. What you think it was gonna make me mad? But you the fucking troll, bitch. Like, I'm not worried about no troll, bitch. I couldn't speak like you think a troll bitch is gonna make me mad. Black. Troll bitch. Man, like, I'm down there 4,000 black troll bitch. Fuck you think you was gonna make me mad with this good Queen Street? But he was a troll bitch. But you know the Queen Street of murder and pain. You sitting on live, on my live, talking about what you know the Queen Streets are murdering baby music. Fuck you talking about blah. It's a murdering magnet, but I ain't gonna lie. It's a murdering magnet. It's a murdering magnet. Shit. Anyway, moving along. She ain't real though. Why you worried about my chain, bro? Keep talking like, bro. Look it up, bro. Let me pee. You know what? Let me pee. Get over here, bro. Get over here. Fucking even the chain real blood. That profile pic real blood. You look like a whole scum bitch out here, blood. Lesbian ass bitch. You had the audacity to give us the side profile, blood. You need a ugly ass bitch. What the fuck you talking about, blood? Lesbian raw face ass nigga, blood. Cornmeal brown ass nigga, blood. I like that. Oh, mixed cream and cornmeal looking ass nigga, but all butter pecan covered ass nigga. Fuck you talking about? Like, look, you look like a whole dot bitch. Like, why the fuck would you even speak up? Night ball, look like that girl on girl, look like that little monkey, bro. Fucking talk about that queen of set it off. We need to go get 100,000. We robbing a bank. We need to do two things. We need to rob a bank, and we need to get the fuck up out of here. Love We need to rob another bank. We need to get the fuck up out of here. Love your life. Two motherfuckers was all over. But I held it down. Love your life. Oh, yeah. The motherfuckers was all over. But I held it down. Calling out the pussy. Don't lie, but I fired your ass up. Don't lie, don't lie, I fired your don't lie, you know I did, but I fired your yeah, real fucking man in the face ass. You know I fired your you bald head this yo in the middle. No, I'm not, bitch. My shit is tight, but they called it, you know, they called it hands control. Bitch, what you talk about? Get out of here, bro. Like
All views and opinions expressed here are not that of Smoke Squad TV or Lindsey Smith. It's this guy right here.
This shit ain't go up.
Bosco.
Control. 100. Fucking tight. The rest of you niggas will dusty ass trash. Your shit don't be lame. You get a refresh, your shit goes tight. My shit ain't going in the middle. This shit called lazy. Okay, far away from the camera ass nigga. But when you stand so far, you gonna get your food. Yeah, that's why you shut the fuck up. Fuck you. You boss, you block this. Get over here, girl. Watch this. Watch this. Get over here. Watch this. So this I block one. I can't stop. I block one. I can't stop. Probably go 2 years ago. We was on house where you can't go. We don't need it, bro. You recognize the struggle. We don't need it. Where's CC show at? Niggas CC show come on here. Niggas talking about, I see that nigga, we supposed to be on the show. Come on, we need to get this nigga on the CC show. No, fuck that, nigga. We need to get CC on the Go Down Stupid show. This goes to the case. Fuck you talking about. Nigga, I been a graphic. You told that nigga, fuck you talking about. I'm trying to prove you. We need to get Buster on the CC show. Nigga, fuck that, bro. We need to get CC on the box show first, nigga. Then I get on the CC show. That nigga need to get on the box show first. Nigga, this qualification gang, bro. Fuck about this right. This a new nigga, bro. Y'all guys, y'all trying to tie your Justice Junior.
Once again, these are not views and opinions of me. Bosco 100. I'm watching this. My old ass upload. Old as hell years ago. His hair was short as hell. Shouts out to Bosco.
There you go. Here I go. Here I go. Here I be. Here I go. Here I go. Here I be. Englewood, though. Englewood. Yeah, here I go. Here I be. Here I go. Here I be. BET should hire me. Why? But that's not black entertainment television. But that's black exploitation television. But they're not dedicated to the black struggle like I am. But they're not a part of the black struggle. Them niggas that have been money for years. You think they really part of the black struggle? You think they really relate to you motherfuckers? How I relate to you motherfuckers? But then nigga, I'm still going through what you going through, but I'm not that far, but I'm a little above, so I'm not getting strong, I'm a little above, but I'm not that far, but I'm a little above, so I'm a little above, but I'm saying not that far, not that far. I'm still blessed. Ray baby, let me see Ray baby. She says go out like, you know what? Just treat me good. When you born a woman, I don't feel comfortable calling people Ray baby. Like, I don't feel comfortable calling girls baby unless I'm sure that they born a woman. When you born a woman, because I just came from the ATL and I've seen a lot of boys that look like they can pass. Like I'm saying, but I've seen a lot of boys that look like they can pass girls. Like in another situation, like if it wasn't a real nigga, like if it wasn't me, like if it was another nigga, I could see where they could pass girls. If it wasn't another. That's a boy. That's a boy. But I'm saying, if it was another nigga, I could see where they could pass girls and another nigga. School, or less, or allowed. They need to drop a bag and give you a like, but you know when I get a bag, look, when I really get a bag, I swear to God, you niggas gonna see something different. You gonna see a real hood nigga that just came with us. You ain't gonna see a nigga that you ain't gonna see a hood nigga that went out. You gonna see a real Inglewood though nigga that got a bag. Like, bro, you ain't gonna see no Hollywood. I'm not gonna go Hollywood. I'm gonna go super duper Inglewood, but I'm not gonna get a bag and go Hollywood. I'm gonna get a bag and go super duper Inglewood, blood quick street, blood. I don't be the hoodest nigga with a bag. You know, I'm gonna be the hoodest nigga in the hood. I'm gonna have $1 million with a hoodie, 7 chains. Cause you know I gotta get a road. Like I was thinking like I don't need no more shit. But you know what? I need a road. But don't I need a road? I need a road. You can't have like roads and a road like a black man dream. You gotta have a road. The road and the road. Time for a road. I might go get one tomorrow. So who knows? I might go tomorrow. Life is good. I'm sure shit life is good. I might go tomorrow. Life is good. Life is good. 7, like I need a road. Do one more run, like a 24 inch, little cool little battle. Like, life is good. Life God is good. You see the dreads? Like my bitch, he talk about I'm going bad. Nigga that you want me to be called boss. Huh? Other niggas, my shit laid, but my shit got super air control. Like, that shit ain't my shit ain't ball. My shit is crazy. Like look at this shit. Like this shit laid. Probably see how lazy the shit talk about all ball. My shit laid. That shit ain't ball. You see how my shit is just long. You see my shit lazy. And I bet speaking on, I ain't tied it down and nothing. Lazy. That's me. You bored in the middle. Nah, nigga, I'm laid in the middle. So I still got a fake here. Don't get a little hair, but I beer face. You know, you know how she real talk. You man, you can't grow up with yourself better than face. What fuck you talking about? You know I'll be talking. Go to the child, you know our shit not great. My shit practice, no break. That's my shit practice. I'm gonna get some pussy right now with the beer, bitch. Fuck me, I got a bitch to be rubbing off the beer, bitch. Fuck me. I'm gonna get some pussy right now with this beer, bitch. Fuck you. don't give a fuck what Queen should get along with. I don't like you niggas. Yeah, I can't get as fuck. Watch this. Watch this. Get over here. I don't like you. You be acting gay as fuck. I don't give a fuck what Queen should like that. I don't like you. You be acting gay as fuck.
Bosco 100. Bosco 100 goes in on live roast session clowning his trolls with 2 clown faces on it.
They're ready to start them. Like, I'm trying to give a nigga, like, you know what I mean? Like, hey, the nigga, I didn't do stuff. You see over there, you know that.
Oh, it looks like you're using too much gel and stuff. Coming up on Garden Talk. I'm a big believer in making sure your minerals are up where they need to be. We focus a lot on NPK, but really it's all the kind of micronutrients and minerals that really make the difference. You're better off just going out and getting some leaf litter. The diversity that's in some leaf litter from the forest floor is going to far outcompete anything that you're buying from the store. The reason why a lot of people are having to re-inoculate, don't even say on the package, you have to do this every month or every 90 days, is because most people are growing in volumes of soil that are too small to sustain a proper soil food web. It's nice to do it in a way that's not only responsible because it's a regenerative practice, but in a lot of ways it's been proven that it is the best way to produce that type of medicine. What's up, everybody? If you that don't know me, my name is Chris, aka Mr. Grow It, and you're tuned into the Garden Talk podcast. This is episode number 88. In this episode, I interview James of Organic Cultivators. He runs a large-scale farm, and that's what we're going to get into in today's episode. Talks about how he does things on his farm and some best practices for farming on a large scale. If you gain value from these podcast episodes, please click the like button and also subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, so you can be notified when I release new episodes. If you'd like to support even more, visit patreon.com/MrGrowit. There are various rewards set up for those of you who support, and you can pledge any amount that you'd like. 100% of the money pledged through Patreon goes right back into the podcast. It helps keep this podcast going, so thank you so much for those of you who support. Before we get into it, I want to acknowledge that one of my goals for this podcast is to bring free gardening information of all plants to the general public. Switched it up a little bit there, eh? That being said, I'd like to thank the sponsors of today's episode who helped make that goal possible. AC Infinity is sponsoring this episode. The Grow 10 kits are incredible. You get their ion board LED grow light, the Grow 10, which is currently the thickest on the market, the ventilation system, clip-on fan, and the Controller 69 to control it all. You also get their fabric pots, a trellis net, plant ties, and trimmers. Definitely a good price for all that you get in the kit. I'll have a link in the description section below so you can learn more about these Grow 10 kits. And you can use discount code MrGrowit if you're buying off their website, acinfinity.com. That discount code actually works for all AC Infinity items. Or discount code MrGrowit15 if you're buying off Amazon. And we are back. Welcome to the Garden Talk podcast. Today I am joined with James from Organic Cultivators. How you doing today? I'm doing good. How are you? Good. Thanks for asking. Today we're going to get into large-scale farming. So this topic has actually been requested by quite a few people because we haven't really covered it on this podcast yet. Most episodes really revolve around small operations such as home grows. So in this episode, let's focus on your experience in large-scale operations. But first, what I like to do with all the guests is an introduction. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself and how you got into gardening? Yeah, I've been gardening vegetables for probably 25 years or so. I was like a science experiment in elementary school. I don't remember what it was, but I had tomato seeds in a bag and they germinated and sprouted. And my teacher was like, you should just go home and plant those. And it just like sparked a thing where it was like, this amazing cool thing. I can put a plant in the ground and grow it. And I put my first garden in the worst place possible, up against a building that was not facing the south. So it was mostly in the shadow the entire time. But over the years, it kind of
just gradually grew things bigger and started out as a lot of people do, especially, back when I was a kid. You bought Miracle Grow and you used that to fertilize your garden and thought you were doing amazing, wonderful things because that's what everybody did. And then I was 18 and I grew some medicinal plants in a closet. I built a homemade NFT system and grew plants with good old Dynagrow. And eventually, but then when you get it out of the container, it's a little mild because they played you wolf crickets.
Speaking of controlling and moderating temperature and humidity, Todd MF1 asks, Mr. Grow, did you get a chance to use your Canatrol yet? We were actually just talking about this before the show started.
Yeah, I got it right behind me. So works pretty good. Holds the temperature and humidity pretty steady there. I like it. I've been using it for about a month now. I'm actually talking with them. I'm trying to get a discount code for my audience, but they haven't. Apparently, somebody's on vacation over there, so they're not working on that yet. But hey, if I can, I'll let you guys know as soon as possible. But I'm liking it so far.
Yeah, we had a nice scientific question before the show. Can it hold beer? Also,
you wouldn't want to. It's too small for that, Like mine's full right now, so it's like adding beer in there it controls the temperature and dew point. It's like, why do we need our beer to, see what dew point our beer is being stored?
Yeah, especially in a metal container or aluminum container. It's like a glass. It's not
like a wine fridge. A beer fridge would be better for beer.
I'll answer that. Sure. Because I want cold, moist beer. My beer fridge is great for your hand when you pick it up. Yeah, it flips right off. Lubricates.
Take it out of the bottle and have it in open containers in there.
The reason I had asked that is because I've got a beer fridge right beside me all the time, always. And if I was going to get one, that's where it'd probably go. So it's like, if it could hold weed and beer, I got all my needs met. And Brody sticks and pepperoni sticks. You know me so well. I had another question here in the chat. Therapy Grow Show is actually asking me twice now. What are your opinions or thoughts on cocoa? Trying my first time also with Autobots. Feeding with kosher. Hey, kosher, Chaim. I've used cocoa for some years. I switched up recently. I like it when I'm there all the time, but it's inert. So you have to do everything. Unless you've got something that's already amended, you have to do everything to it. And your pH is extremely important compared to something like a regular soil. It's a lot less forgiving. It's essentially on you. You are Mother or Father Nature, depending on what you identify as. So, how about you guys? You have a cocoa?
Yeah, cocoa's good. I mean, I prefer soil, but I do like the control of cocoa, right? Starting with a blank slate in the center, like the inert medium, like Rob had said, it can be beneficial, right? Because then exactly, you get into precision feeding on it. Dilute water a little bit more often, in my experience. I mean, it's a little bit more airier, doesn't hold on to water as well, right? But yeah, I've gotten some good results off of it. I usually go in 5.8 pH of my nutrient solution, and then that's it pretty much. And obviously I check off the runoff ppm or EC, whatever you check, and then you can balance it as needed. So yeah, it's alternate way to grow, but I usually just choose soil.
Yeah, I've just at this point I've switched up because when we travel, every time I come back, it's just totally messed up. And so I just really don't want to deal with that again. In a situation where you can give somebody all of the tips and all of the traits, everything they need, if something like a pH meter isn't calibrated properly, it could throw it all off. And when you're in a young baby phase with something like that, with cocoa, it's finicky. But if you're on top of it frequently, or you do have an auto watering system, it's on point. Like, I really do think that you've got more control to do more with it, so to speak, versus soil. You kind of have to let it do what it does and work with what you already have, especially something that's amended, pretty solid. But then when you deal with like a super soil versus like a pro mix, those are two different things too. So it's not like, or even a ocean forest, you know what I'm saying? Like, you have to do a little less depending on what kind of soil you have, where that becomes more advantageous for some people, because they're like, you can go the organic cocoa route and amend that and do that work and have a similar result, but it's a little more labor intensive versus a soil that already has a lot of this kind of ready for you.
Yeah, I think cocoa and autopods or cocoa and blue mats would you'd kill it. It's kill it. I mean, in a good way. So,
Positive.
not killing your plants, but kill it as in knock things out of the park, and it'd be a lot easier. Then you go instead of hand watering, you have to kind of go in a little bit more frequently than soil, for example. Hook it up to a reservoir, have either blue mats drip down or your autopods, and you're just making sure the reservoir is on point with the pH, EC, and then it's you're kind of hands off when it comes to watering, and definitely get some good results on that.
Yeah, I don't think you dabbled into the cocoa.
Nah. Nope. I wasn't even gonna speak on it. You guys touched on it, I don't touch it. Yeah, don't worry about it. Just real quick, housekeeping items. Do we want the chat on for the episode itself?
I think some of the questions are there.
Yeah, for the Q&A? Yeah.
So if you're listening, if you're wondering, this is why you need to go over to YouTube or watch when we upload. Or if you're watching this on YouTube, that person here that you're seeing.
Right. That's right.
If you want to see these questions that we're repeating because we talk kind of in mixed English, you can see it live on twitch.tv/Summit.
That's right. Every Tuesday or every Thursday at 1 p.m. Central, 2 Eastern, and 11 Pacific. A couple of bang out real quick. Thoughts on Ethos Genetics? I think we're fans. I've never grown, but I know Chris has.
No, I haven't.
Oh, you haven't?
Rob has. Wanting to grow. Yeah.
Yeah, I think when it comes to companies like Ethos, Exotic Genetics, with some of these others that they've won awards. These are award-winning genetics. These are people who they don't just put them out and show good pictures on Instagram. They've been put out and tested at places in commercial settings. And these are ones a lot of times that you'll see. I'm not going to get into controversial stuff, but you'll see situations of these people getting big and who they were not being the same. I'm not saying because there isn't. I'm not saying that there isn't, but I'm just saying some of these real big guys, the genetics will be solid, but the people that you're sending the funds to aren't as good as the little guys who may not have the athletes that are doing it. They're doing it for the community, for the passion, for everything. And okay, put it out there. You know what you're getting, not just based on good genetics, but good companies and good people that you're backing. There's a lot of banks that you can deal with that you're helping multiple people in that space. But some of these companies, seems like more and more they find a way to just make top tier money, and then they get away from what we want as a community. They don't make the genetics that we want as a home grower, and it becomes a commercialized property kind of thing. And I'm sure those people are checking this out and talking about them, but I'm not saying it's good. I'm just saying I've been seeing this more now in the commercial setting where I'm like, damn, they got a contract with this company and they can't do anything over here. With why? We don't know about that until you get into the space. Interesting.
Yep. I've never grown. I've only heard good things, great things, in fact. But I would totally recommend them. Rolla J asks, when's the best time to take clones? When's the best time in veg to take clones?
I take them about 2 to 3 weeks before I flip, so that way I give recovery time. They're at its healthiest point. I can remove a lot, let's say, or I can do some pruning without hurting the plant. And I usually do it in that same phase when I'm pruning and when I'm doing it for the people, because then it's a 2-for-1 situation. I used to take the top, when I top my plant, I take a fat top, and that would be my clone. But I noticed those take a little longer to root. They're hardier and more vigorous, and they start larger. It takes a little longer to root, and then that topping growth versus bottom healing growth is dramatically different. It'll take me, anywhere from 2 to 4 weeks to get the good canopy I want after I cut that top part versus removing some bottoms.
Yeah, when I used to clone, I used to just wait until the plant grew up enough to where I'm about to do a lollipop, and when I lollipop, I'm removing some of those branches that aren't making it up to the top. I'm just using those as clones. Either that, or when I'm just topping the plant, use those. Now there's a lot of there's some debate, and they're saying that hormones are a different part of the plant, so the bottom part of the plant might root faster than the top part of the plant, and because they're older hormones or whatever. I mean, you read that in Jorge Cervantes' book, for example, or maybe it was the other way around as far as the hormone distribution. But either way, it's going to root. So you can get either way to root.
I think you're onto something there. I do find lower bottom shoots do root faster than bigger ones. I don't know if there's anything to the size of the stem, because you're right. I find when I try to clone a top, it takes a little bit longer than if I just taken stuff from the bottom. Now I don't know if that has to do with hormones or what, but yeah, generally speaking, you want to make sure that the plant is mature enough. You know, when you're starting to see options for clones, that's pretty much a good time. But Rob said it. You don't want to clone and then flip. You know, I wouldn't clone on a Thursday, flip on a Friday kind of thing. It'd be a clone on a Thursday, flip on a Monday, Tuesday kind of thing. You know, and I'd probably be taking clones out of a default kind of thing, like a big heavy trim, doing a lollipop, that kind of thing. Yeah. I do clones. I'm more of a seed and go kind of guy, but that's another question. Hey Rob, I'm just gonna keep going here. Sorry, Therapy Grow Show asks, hey Rob, any info on recommendations on a micro grow / dispensary?
Running it or getting one? It's a good question.
What would you say? Well, running one. Let's start with that.
So let's say running one. You got to consider margins no matter how ethical you want to be. You want to be the best. You want to have all the best shit. You're like, man, I'd bring out the GMO and this, that, the other. It's like, well, GMO takes 13 weeks to grow. And if there's a demand for product and you don't have a price point that's already driving people there, if there's no unique value add, nothing that's going to make somebody look at you versus the place down the street, then there's nothing that's going to make you shine. So you got to have some sort of unique value add. And you can't be in the middle. You either got to be the top of the top or the bottom of the bottom in terms of price point and quality. Because riding that wave in the middle, you just get forgotten about. People are going to literally travel further to just get cheap flowers or cheap products, or they'll travel further to get better products. Because why would you do it just for like, yeah, prices aren't bad, smoke's not bad. You got to really hit all those areas and make sure that the bud tenders or your salespeople know their shit. Like consume all of the products and know their products and are able to help educate and help the consumer who comes in. Because I think a lot of people don't understand what the hell the difference is when they come in and say, I just want high THC. What's the highest THC you got? Now you need to be like, okay, well, what kind of flavors are you into? Look, I'm into this, and then you navigate that THC based on what they're into. Because a lot of times you'll go in there and you say, that's the highest one. Here you go, boom. And it's not the best one for that person. And they'll have a bad experience and they'll never return. So I can go on for days and days and days. Maybe I'll make a video about it eventually, but there's a lot of stuff I think, especially being in a market that's saturated, that you have to do to stand out from the pack. And you got to be able to take good branding and good product and meet in the middle.
Yeah, I'm glad you actually said that. And that's the difference between the Canadian and American market is the lack of branding in the Canadian market, because you really can't.
I'm out. Make sure you watch the premiere. The premiere is going down 420 today. If you don't catch it live, you're tripping. Catch it live. It's going down. Let's go.
Awareness is on the label itself. And you have to say it's